Okay, no. There really wasn't anything I could do to get out of that one. And we lose. Cool beans. Oh well. Good game. Where's my drink?
It's in the refrigerator.
Now this would be a good introduction if we were reviewing Funko Pop Overwatch toys, but we're not. It's not like those types of toy videos do very well, right?
Hello once again, everybody. I am your host, Atratsu, and today we are unboxing this Blizzard item. I'm not gonna flip it so you can see the bottom, cause I don't want you to see my address, cause yes, I am that paranoid. Alright, so what we're going to do, normal Blizzard box as you've already seen. This is what it looks like when you order stuff from Blizzard Gear, or gear.blizzard.com. You open it up, you got the regular flap system, and you see, oh look, they congratulate you. It's still out of frame. I'm not good at this. I'm trying to make it look like I'm bad, but I'm actually just bad. Congrats on the new gear. And you have your Reaper doll. I guess we should probably take it one step farther. So I will now show you the unboxing of the box that we unboxed it from. You have your Reaper. See that it's one of 6. And it's got 93 there. In case you want other Funko Pop, I guess. You got languages. Then in pop games. I could tell you about a pop game once. Just kidding. And just take it out. Here it is. This is my unboxer voice. Thank you for watching.
If you don't read titles, today we're reviewing Overwatch. Yep, I'm late to the party again. By the way, I totally didn't just get this because I wanted it for the review. Nope, I just needed a prop. Let's go with that.
Refrigerator. Refrigerator.
That joke never gets old.
Overwatch's genre is a relatively newly coined term called hero shooter. It's kind of similar to a MOBA and an FPS. It's kind of a hybrid between the two genres. If Borderlands 2 had a baby... Oh wait, that would have been Battleborn, another game that came out at the same time as Overwatch, but Blizzard crushed them. I'm gonna go off tangent here a little bit, but this is a message to Blizzard. I love your games, Blizzard. I love your community. I even love your marketing, and now I love your movies. But good grief, you're ruthless, Actiblizzard. Whoa!
Look, Blizzard, this is an intervention. You can't just go around crushing your opposition like you would if you were playing Overwatch, or arenas in World of Warcraft, or really anything for that matter. You just can't go around crushing people.
Each character has his or her own backstory, which I highly suggest checking out. But there's more to the story than just that. Overwatch itself has a bit of a story in the real world. You see, originally Overwatch was going to be another MMORPG like Blizzard's infamously famous World of Warcraft. The project was developed for 7 years under the title Titan, but unfortunately, it was scrapped. It was unfortunate because, holy crap, 7 years? How many of you can say that you've worked for a project for 7 years and there goes all your work? It's like the ultimate Alt F4 power failure hard drive committed seppuku. It is fortunate though, because Titan was a large inspiration for the team that worked on Overwatch. But the team also received inspiration from Hearthstone, and I haven't quite figured out how that works, but let's just go with it. Overwatch takes place on Earth 60 years into the future. That won't help people much who watch this video 60 years in the future. I'm being such an optimist now, it's disgusting. But for those of you in the future, think year 2076. I'm gonna paraphrase the rest of the story, but you should totally check out the full version. As always, links are in the description, which almost no one ever reads. Overwatch was originally formed by Earth's various nations who all worked together as a type of global super team formed to fight off robots which were trying to take over the world. I can only imagine that Pinky and the Brain were to blame, or maybe Dr. Robotnik. Sounds like Dr. Robotnik. Sonic, where are you? Anyway, Overwatch was formed to fight back the conquering robots. They succeeded. There was a disagreement, an explosion, people died. Overwatch was disbanded. And then Winston was like,
I do say, let me set up this beacon to call everyone back. We need agents to help fight against these Talon terrorists. Now please, sport me some tea.
and then Tracer showed up and said, "Cheers, love, the cavalry is here." And then followed it up with, "Here's your refrigerator running, better go catch it." I'm just trying to put refrigerator jokes in here. Let's quickly go over the controls. You have your WASD for movement, your left click for your weapon, your right click is sometimes a cool special effect. Make sure you read your character's moveset before jumping in. We'll be using Soldier 76 for example, and his is Rocket Shot. Your E is a cooldown. Soldier 76 is an AoE heal. Your shift for Soldier 76 is sprint. It's different depending on the character. Sometimes it's rocket boost. You get the idea. Read your character before you play it. Your Q is your ultimate, or alt. When I first started playing Overwatch, people were talking about alts. I was like, why are you talking about alternative characters in your World of Warcraft account? And this is Overwatch. Meh. Moving on to the different characters. But before we jump into mentioning each one with probably a snide comment or two, they are broken down into 4 different class roles: offensive, defensive, tank, and support. I'm sure I don't need to explain what each one does, but guess what I'm about to do anyway? Offensive characters tend to do the most damage and have good mobility. Defensive characters are my favorite type of characters. They have less mobility, but oftentimes more effective in conditional situations. I'll explain more about that in a second. Basically, they're more effective at defending a location rather than attacking. Tank characters are basically big, meaty bullet sponges, batteries not included. Lastly, support characters, which will be the deciding factor on if you spend most of your game dirt napping or pew-pewing.
We are very sorry for interrupting your review, but this important article has just come to surface, and we must report on it. Protect your freaking healers! This has been a Tratsu with the report. We will now return you to your regular review. Thank you.
It should be noted there's quite the backstory for each hero. Unfortunately, we'll be covering the heroes rather quickly, so I feel great shame for not getting into greater detail on each character's lore, but this isn't the time nor the place. I'm thinking about making a video spotlight for each class where I'll cover them in greater detail. If that sounds like something you're interested in, leave a comment, let me know. First, we have Genji, either the best hero of them all, or the spawn of Satan. Just Google Cyber Ninja, there he is. He hops around, throws ninja stars, his ult makes me cry. Well played, Genji-san. Well played. Next is McCree, and he's a cowboy! Poor guy's always getting nerfed. He can snipe, he can melt your face up close, he's just all around pretty good character. He also has a stun. Pharah, which my brain insists on reading Pahara. I can't read, okay? Farah has a jetpack and a rocket launcher. Nuff said. Now we come to one of my favorites. Am I incriminating myself by admitting my favorites? Crap. Reaper. But you already knew I liked him. Reaper uses 2 shotguns, specifically designed and calibrated for firing into people's faces or the backs of their heads. Soldier 76, formerly known as Jack Morrison. Who said that? Soldier 76 is actually the easiest character to learn first. An all-around good character in every way. He's got a heal, he's got a rifle, he's got a rocket shot, on cooldown, all that good stuff. The last attack character is the poster girl for Overwatch, the always chipper, happy Tracer. Tracer's Iron Man suit heart thing allows her to reset time, dash several times in quick succession. All in all, she's just one of the zip characters whose only rival is Genji when it comes to being difficult to shoot. The first defensive character we'll talk about is Bastion. Bastion is a robot that can turn into a Gatling gun turret. Bastion also has a... Wait. Does that robot have a bird friend? That robot has a bird friend! Oh my goodness! It's so much! It's so cute! Ah! What was I saying? Hanzo, very much like Genji, is either the best character in the game or the bane of your existence. Just like McCree, Hanzo seems to ride the wave of nerf. I can't think of a funny joke. I wish I was better at playing him, but I'm not. Not yet, anyway. Next is Junkrat. Let's just say, if Blizzard had made a Junkrat Funko Pop, I wouldn't be making refrigerator jokes in this review. Junkrat is an easy character to pick up and play. I didn't think I was going to like him at first because I typically dislike grenade launching weapons. But Junkrat feels very good to play as, and he's got such a charming personality. He has a trap, a detonator mine, and his ultimate will make everyone on the team scramble to find the attack tire. This is Mei. Mei is adorable. Mei is beautiful. Mei is chilly. Mei uses a snow gun that freezes enemies and gives you a few seconds to see their helpless plea of mother. Mei doesn't move very fast, but makes up with it for freezing herself and regenerating health. Torbjorn is the next one on the list. Have you ever played Team Fortress 2? Do you remember the Engineer? Torbjorn is basically Overwatch version of the Engineer. For those of you who haven't played it, Torbjorn builds a turret which has an AI control of its own and shoots at whoever is in range. Turret placement is key for this character. The last tier on the defensive list is Widowmaker, the sniper. We might as well call you the scapegoat though, because you're gonna take all the blame if you play this character. People on a good Widowmaker's team won't see her at all. She'll be off in the corner sniping people, and because no one sees her, she's probably going to be the one to blame if anything bad happens. Don't get me wrong, some Widowmakers should reroll as anything else, but some are unjustly blamed. The first tank character we'll talk about is D.Va. Her mech suit takes quite the beating. Her weapon isn't very effective unless it's close range. She has a shield which can be used to protect allies near her. She also has a boost which makes up for her otherwise slow-going movement. Next, Reinhardt. I feel like Reinhardt was taken straight from StarCraft or Warcraft because of his dimensions. He towers above the other characters. His primary attack is melee with his massive hammer. He does have one range attack which is on a cooldown timer. His typical suggested purpose is to shield allies. While shielding, he's one of the only characters that can see in third person. Lastly, he has a charge attack which would make Pontius and Cormac proud, respectively. Roadhog is probably the scariest looking hero, and you're competing with the Grim Reaper over there. Roadhog has a shotgun, can self-heal by drinking something. Not sure what's in there, but it's gotta be good, right? And don't forget about his signature move, Chain Hook. Basically, he throws a hook at you, pulls you to him, and then he follows it up with a shotgun in the face. Or if he's being a particular jerk, he might just chain pull you to a cliff and wave as you fall down. Next, the only anthropomorphic hero, Winston. To all of you thinking it, not gonna say it. Winston leaps into the fight with a Tesla cannon and drops a shield to protect allies. I also refuse to make any Harambe comments, because I don't want to date this review. Shoot, I just did, didn't I? Well, for what it's worth, since the event taking place, there's a constant joke going on. If you ever play that character, there's a good chance that someone's going to make a comment of Harambe inside of chat. Well, that's at least going to be out there, if you didn't already know. The last character to talk about in the tank category is Zarya. Zarya is a powerhouse who uses shields. Shields for days, shields for you, shields for me, and a power ball, or power lasers for enemies. The first character we'll talk about in support is Ana. She said that it was okay. She said that we were in her sights, and she started shooting at us from behind. Whoops, sorry, the song is really catchy. Check out Instalock's Ana Said featuring Lunati. As always, video in the description. Ana is a healing sniper. Yes, you heard me. She both snipes enemies and heals by sniping friendly targets. I'm just saying, that's pretty cool. Lucy is a character that has yet to click with me how to play. I think I'm not jumping off enough walls. Lucio can switch between a passive speed boost, which allows his teammates to move faster, and a passive heal boost, which grants health regeneration over time. He also has a cooldown, which lets him speed up both the heal and the movement speed, respectively. Lucy also has a knockback, which you will learn very quickly to avoid when near a cliff or ledge, because environmental kills are a thing. Next, we have my personal favorite healer to play as, Mercy. Mercy is probably the strongest healer when it comes to single target healing. Mercy's ultimate is a mass resurrection to everyone within range. Mercy can heal or damage boost one character, and can also jump to, and if in the air, gently float down to friendly targets. Symmetra has turrets, a teleporter, and gives allies armor. I can't say much more because just like Lucio, Genji, and Hanzo, I need to spend more time playing and learning how to play Symmetra. Generally, Symmetra is best played when defending a control point. Lastly, we have Zenyatta. When I started playing Overwatch, Zenyatta was a pushover, and I dubbed him Monk, cause I'm bad at names. And as Reaper, I would actively seek out Zenyatta and shotgun him back to Zenland. At the time of this review, he's been buffed, and if he catches me coming for him, he opens up a can of butt kicking. Zenyatta has a debuff which increases damage done to your target, a passive regeneration which can be put on other players, and a bunch of small balls he punches at people. Doesn't sound intimidating? You will be when you face a good Zenyatta. Balls for days. He's a slow-moving character and has trouble when you get up close, so do keep that in mind if you encounter a wild Zenyatta.
Next, let's talk about the different kinds of levels and the different objectives you should be working towards in Overwatch. Now, don't get me wrong, I have been known to get caught up in the fervor of battle. Okay, maybe a little bit more caught up than the fervor than I like to admit, but the point is you don't always win your battles from kills.
Depending on the map, you will either attack or defend. You will be defending or attacking a control point or a payload toboggan train engine thing. At this time, there really isn't a deathmatch game mode, but that's good because many heroes would be rendered useless in that type of mode. Don't get me wrong though, I'm pretty sure Torbjorn is virtually useless when it comes to attacking, but heroes play really well on certain maps, in certain situations. Which brings us to a point most Overwatch players will probably already have told you. Don't get mind-numbingly good at just one hero. I'm immediately thinking about Genji, Hanzo, and Widowmaker mains, but let's talk about the average gamer.
Hey, how you doing? Been a while since we talked, huh? You know your favorite character? Don't play that one too much. Very upper portfolio. Try playing different characters. You want to get good at a bunch of different types of characters rather than being insanely good at just one character. And whatever you do, do not look at my profile online and see just how many hours I've spent playing Junkrat. Do as I say, not as I do.
But on a serious note, I generally find an excuse to play my favorite character as much as possible, but I only do that for one game. The next game, I will play something else, and then again. I try to shake it up so I always have an alternative character I can fall back on. True story. One game I was dying a lot at Zoya, so I switched to Junkrat. Generally an extreme measure to dish back a helping of pain! But that didn't fly either. $5 has the team out of Farah. So I switched again to Mei, and I'll be darned, we started winning. Here's the problem. I don't know 100% for sure that my switching to Mei is what caused us to win that game. Maybe everyone else was fighting off rabid beavers and finally had a shotgun barrel the last beaver and started playing. Or maybe Mei was the right comp with the other people I was teamed up with. Or maybe Mei is bait. There, I said it. Judge me. Judge me. Before we move on to the next subtopic, I would like to quickly point out that for this review, I ran each map on my own in an empty custom game all by my lonesome. I learned and noticed that there are normally 3 different ways to get to your objectives. And even on mainly payload maps, which are highly linear by design, you normally have a center lane, a right and left flank. But don't get lost. There's nothing more frustrating than seeing a teammate running around in figure 8s back at spawn because they have the memory of a goldfish. One final note. I noticed a lot of levels have this bucket, so I made a bucket destruction montage. You're welcome.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven.
Objective A captured. Escort the payload. Victory. Play of the game.
Wait, this isn't a bucket. This is a...
Refrigerator.
Okay, that's the last refrigerator joke. Maybe. Let no one say Atratsu has not gotten his money's worth out of this Funko Pop Reaper. They should sponsor me for advertising. Just saying. Next, we have the different game modes. If you haven't heard yet, at this time there really isn't much you can do with Overwatch as a single-player game. You have practice and custom game, and that's about all you can really do on your own. Practice loads a special map where you can try out each hero, shoot at different targets, and just get a general feel for the respective character. There are various targets you can fire at. There are robots that run around which you can practice on. This was where I first played each character to see how they felt. But that really doesn't do the game justice because there's zero stress. You try playing a sniper in a zero stress situation, you're a regular Chris Kyle, or for a more global historical nod, Simo Hayuhe. Hey, look at that. Learning things with Atratsu reviews. Who'da thunk it? By the way, you should totally look up history on Simo Hayuhe. Good luck to Americans trying to spell it. I'm trying to pronounce it. I know I'm doing a bad job. I'm so sorry. Just Google World's Greatest Sniper or White Death. Now then, getting back on track, the final gameplay modes to talk about are Verse AI, Quick Play, Competitive, and Weekly Brawl. Verse AI is the next step up from practice. You play against bots with a team of fellow players. This is kinda boring actually. As long as your team has a handful of people pointing the correct business side of their weapons at the enemy and pulling the triggers, you should be fine. Moving on to Quick Play, this is the mode that most of us are playing. You queue up and are paired with other players and do everything we've mentioned in the rest of this review. Next, Competitive Play. There are a few different rules to this one, other than you're most likely to be yelled at in this mode. I had no intentions of actually playing seasons in Overwatch, but I caved in because I like aesthetics and achievements.
It's a sickness, really.
Competitive play only allows one hero per team, whereas in quick play you could have a whole team of Bastion, or Genji, or Hanzo, or Mei. In competitive play, one person gets dibs on a hero, so choose wisely. The first few matches of the season will place you in a bracket based on your qualifying rounds. Once you're finished qualifying, you'll receive a number that everyone will probably judge you by. I really don't know. I only qualify and go back to quick play. Lastly, we have Weekly Brawl. Weekly Brawl always changes to include or exclude certain heroes or maps. For summer, there was a special game known as Lucio Ball, which is very similar to Rocket League or soccer, football. Don't get me started on sports. I don't sports. At the time that I am writing this review, the Weekly Brawl is offensive heroes, so no support, no tank, no Junkrat. It's all Genji, Tracer, Soldier 76, McCree, and Pharah. And at the time that I am recording this review, the Weekly Brawl is for the new map, Eichenwald. I probably butchered that pronunciation too. Welcome back to Atratsu Ruins Languages! If you've ever played Hearthstone, it's like Tavern Brawl. The rules are always changing, and the play is always dynamic. However, it seems to me that the queues are longer than quick play. Now we move on to progression. Everyone needs to feel like they're progressing towards something, right? Or else you feel your struggle is all for naught. Let's clear this up right now. From the day you start playing Overwatch to the day the servers are shut down, your hero will do the same damage and have the same health. Except when increasing or decreasing when they ride the waves of nerf. My point is, your hero won't get any stronger as you level up. After games, you are granted experience. When you level up, you earn a loot box, which you then open for skins, sprays, player icons, or currency. If you have doubles of something, you will get currency instead. Everything you gain is aesthetic. This sparks some conflict with the player base. Some people like it because it keeps everything fair and we all need to work or RNG our way to get it. Some people dislike it because they want to pay for their items instead of rolling RNG. And I don't really care. I like and play my characters regardless of how they look. I can empathize with that person who really wants a skin for their favorite character. I was that way with Junkrat. I really wanted something different. I eventually bought the burnt looking skin because I always imagined he would play with fireworks, so I ended up getting what I wanted. Honestly, to me, opening loot boxes is like opening Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic cards. You have no idea what you're about to get. Probably crap that you can't use or don't want, but there's always that chance you might get a Charizard, especially if you're opening Magic the Gathering card packs. I hear they're full of Charizards.
And you thought I was making it up. I am.
Now, it does stand to point out you unlock portrait frames, much like in Diablo 3. After you get to level 100, you will prestige level at level 101, at which you will gain a nice star added to your profile and your level will reset to 1. But everyone knows you're actually level 101. So 2 stars is 200, 3 stars is 300, you get the picture. Overwatch is constantly updating and changing. To stay on top of it, I highly suggest reading patch notes, and always keep an eye open for the next character that might be added to the game. I'm sure in a disgustingly short amount of time, this review will be obsolete, because I didn't mention whichever character was most recently added. And again, while working on this review, I'm waiting for Sombra. I'm hoping that Sombra will be added into the game soon enough so that I can make it look like I'm most current. But knowing my luck, Sombra will join the day after I finish rendering this review. Mind you, not the day after I posted it. And there's still no sign of Sombra yet. Darn you, life! One final thing I'd like to add to my review is that I would love to be able to compare the PC and console versions of Overwatch. But I don't own a console, so all I can really do is regurgitate what I've heard. I've heard the AI for Torbjorn's turret is slower, the sniping is easier because it's harder to snipe with a controller, and generally the pace of the game is slower on console. Feel free to correct me in a comment if you know for sure any type of differences, but that's all I'm going on from right now. Let's wrap up this beast of a review, shall we? In conclusion, I like the game. The reason I like it is a bit of everything. My favorite feature is that I can boot up Overwatch.exe, play a round or two of Overwatch, close it, and then go do something else. The heroes control extremely well, the game feels smooth, each hero is interesting and makes you want to know the backstory. If you don't care about backstory, you never need to think about it again, you loreless monster. As always, thank you for watching, my name is Atratsu, and I approve this review. Whew, ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to the end. Thank you for all of you who have stuck it out to the end. As always, I appreciate the support, the new and old faces alike. Thank you for watching my review. If you liked it, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm just gonna ad-lib this part. I've got some really exciting stuff that's coming down the line. I'm really excited for next month. I've got more projects that I'm working on. There's always just something going on inside my brain. I'm like, oh, that would be a fun review or video to work on. So definitely expect more coming from my channel. I know it takes a long time to edit all of it together, but hopefully the end result is something that people like. I mean, it's getting to the point that I actually like showing people and being like, look, I made this, rather than originally I was like, oh no, please, it's so awkward for me. I'm embarrassed. I felt most like I was seeing something from Samurai Jack during the cutscenes. Regardless, there's a clear influence from Genndy Tartakovsky, whom was the artist behind the Samurai Jack